There's some freaky stuff going on up in Boston. I mean, some real Mary Shelley type stuff. Welcome back to Bible Bears, everyone. I'm Ryder Cullison. Okay, we're all adults here, but anyone who's a little bit squeamish or offended by talk of genitalia, you might want to sign out. But click that subscribe button first, okay, so that you'll be notified when I post videos that are more to your liking. Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston wants to attach male genitalia from a deceased person onto a woman, a transgendered woman who identifies as a man. So, to repeat, they're going to take the genitalia off a dead man and put it on a live woman so that she'll have male genitalia and so that she can feel more comfortable in her body with the genitalia of a dead person. And doctors are super excited about doing this. I mean, they are pumped. They can't wait to do it. It's something that's never been done before. It's going to push the boundaries. Now, they have repaired the genitalia of men in the past by, taking skin or other things. If you're squeamish like me, I don't really like to talk about this, but they've rebuilt male genitalia or reattached. So let's use my finger as an example. I cut off part of my finger. You take the finger that's been removed and put it back on, get it back on there, and it works okay. They've done that with men. Never have they before had a clean slate with a woman who isn't supposed to have male genitalia and taken it from a dead person and put it on there. And these guys, like I said, are pumped. I mean, we can't wait to do this. The only problem is there is a federal regulation against which prohibits organ donation of specific body parts like limbs and genitalia unless the organ donor or the next of kin gives approval. So I imagine in this circumstance, the organ donor is dead. He has not given permission yet. The next of kin would need to say, yeah, I think it's okay if you take my loved one's genitalia and remove it and put it on another woman. Now, if you're wondering why I'm talking about this, well, obviously, I don't think this is what God intended us to do when He first created us. He created us as man and as woman. Now, I don't know what it's like to be in a body where I think I should be in another body. Okay? I don't know if that's actually mental illness. I don't know if I'm offending anyone. I'm sure I'm offending people by saying it could be mental illness. I'm not sure that some people aren't just confused, and if they had spoken to the right people, they would decide to remain in their own body. Let's move forward so you know what I'm talking about. I read a story recently about a man, and I'll include a link to the article in the description section, but he basically grew up feeling effeminate. He was effeminate. He felt like, well, maybe I'm gay. I don't know if I'm gay, or maybe I'm just transgendered. And he found out that, wow, there's more and more people coming out as potentially transgendered. I'm living in the Midwest with Midwest values. I feel out of place here. He moves to California, goes to a gender clinic. He meets with a nurse. In 15 minutes, the nurse says, well, if you feel like you're trans, that means you are trans. And then they moved him on to doctors where they started giving him hormone therapy. And they were just, everybody was pushing it on him. They were very gleeful. They were like, boy, you're really taking a big step towards your new journey to be comfortable in your body. They kept pushing surgery. He said, no, no, no. Eventually he took it. They castrated him. They gave him estrogen. He grew breasts. Things started going wrong that they said, oh, that's not supposed to happen. And he started feeling very, very uncomfortable. This was not the direction he wanted to go. He was just confused. But all the therapists who said, oh, well, you're just trans. This is what you need to do. He wasn't trans. He was more comfortable in his other body. He was just confused with how kind of effeminate he was. And he thought, well, maybe I'm gay, but I don't want to be gay because everybody's treating gay people badly. So I just need to transition to being a woman. And it just totally wrecked his life. Now he's trying to detransition. He's had to have the breasts removed. His genitalia is not working properly. He experiences pain, all sorts of unpleasant things. Again, I'll put the link to the article in the description below. I would encourage you to read it because there are many, many people coming out saying, who transitioned to another gender, who said, I made a huge mistake. Possibly this woman who wants the dead man's genitalia, maybe she doesn't even really want it. Maybe the doctors are just pushing this on her because this is something they are excited about trying to do. And it's unethical. Jennifer Bilek, who's an investigative journalist, she says, to suggest this is helpful by a medical industry poised to profit from these maniacal surgeries and the attendant problems likely to arise from them only adds to the insanity of our culture. Adding the sex organ of a dead individual to fulfill an attempt to sculpt a preposterous falsehood, that of changing sex, shows how malignant the propaganda of transgenderism has become in Western culture. Now, listen to this last point because this is important. We ought to be ashamed, but we celebrate it. These medical professionals should be brought up on charges, but we laud them instead, as they stuff their pockets on young people's pain and will stuff them again to cure necrosis bound to occur from attaching dead flesh to live bodies. This is what I mean by real Mary Shelley stuff going on. Mary Shelley, of course, was the author of Frankenstein, a body composed of different limbs and organs. Now, what Jennifer Bilek is saying is these medical professionals are going to profit from these surgeries. And then they're going to profit again when they have to reverse these surgeries. This happened in the 80s and 90s with all the breast implants that are going into women. Doctors profited from that, trying to make them feel better about themselves. They didn't care if that's what the woman really needed or not. They just cared about stuffing their pockets. And then when the implants exploded, leaked, failed in some way, who then reversed the procedure? The doctors. And so they made more money off reversing the procedure. It's like a mechanic putting a faulty part in your car. You pay them to put the part in, and then you pay them to take the part out and fix your engine again. They're making double the amount of money. This is what's going on with these medical doctors under the guise that they're just trying to help these transgender people. What the transgender people really need is therapy. They need a psychologist. They need a psychiatrist. Not one who is wrapped up in activism, but one who really cares about the patient. These doctors, what they care about is jumping the 20 buses like Evel Knievel. Putting male genitalia on a female patient. Finally, we get to do something groundbreaking that we've never done before. And they're saying, oh, this will help all the transgender patients everywhere. You're assuming that this is what they actually need. Now, they're uncomfortable in their own skin. Isn't that what gender dysphoria is really about? I don't feel right. I feel like I'm another gender. I can't imagine how using the bathroom and looking down and seeing the male genitalia of another person suddenly on your body is going to make you feel more comfortable in your skin. That's something you're likely going to regret. Maybe you won't, but you need to have a conversation before you take a dead organ and sew it onto your body. This is something that is going to be problematic. The doctors, some of them are going to admit, we've never done this before. We really don't know what's going to happen. Because you're not built that way. You shouldn't be taking male genitalia and sewing it onto a female body. I like to use the word unsavory. It's macabre. It's Frankensteinish. And it's going to cause irreparable harm, perhaps to the psyche and physically to the body of the person receiving that organ. It's dead. It's dead. And you're sewing on dead flesh to your body. It's crazy. It clearly is not God's design. This is not the life He wants us to lead. God doesn't want anybody to be confused. He wants us to be happy. We're wonderfully and fearfully made. Taking such drastic measures to try to feel comfortable in your skin, these doctors don't care about you. They care about their bottom line. They care about their mansions and their kids going to Ivy League schools. Don't be fooled. Go to therapy if you need a therapy. Go to a psychologist, but also pray. Just get on your knees and say, God, what is it you want for my life? Please help me to be happy with who I am. Please help me to love myself. All of us encounter bouts of depression, anxiety, self-doubts. Even people who don't undergo gender dysphoria, we have doubts about whether we're good sons or daughters or parents or brothers or sisters or good employees or whatever. We need to pray for God's strength, His supernatural goodness, His wisdom. That's what you need really right now is wisdom. Don't sew genitalia onto your body without first going to God. Let me just tell you, if you're uncomfortable going to God, I'm going to tell you right now, don't do it. Don't do it. Anyway, guys, what do you think? Am I totally transphobic here? Or am I onto something? We should be praying about this, I think, but put that in your comments below. Is this Mary Shelley Frankenstein stuff? Is this groundbreaking science? Should we be pursuing this? Or should we leave well enough alone and transgender people be pursuing therapy and measures that will really help them be comfortable with who they are rather than drastically altering their bodies, which could cause irreparable harm? I'd love to hear from you. Let's get a debate going about this. This needs to be shared with everybody else. So please click share, like, and subscribe. As always, I do love you. And have a blessed day.